Well, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. We got some birds this morning. Can you hear them? You hear them birds? They don't have any coffee and they're awake. I do have coffee and I'm awake. Is this actually streaming? I'm not getting, There it is, showing up now. Okay, so we are live. Yay! A little bit of a fire truck or ambulance there as well. Okay, so let's see what we got here. It is the morning. Good morning, Evan Netta. Although for Evan, who might be traveling, you said you were going to Scotland soon. I don't know if you're already there. I guess it's afternoon. Morning, Cha-Cha. Good morning, Honorary Parrot on the Twitch chat. Welcome, Mahi's Zero in the YouTube chat. Glad to see you. Another nobody, first time chatter in the Twitch chat. Uh-oh, construction noises are starting up. I don't mind the occasional siren. Now there's a backing up truck. Ooh. I think I might have one TCG token. Let me check, actually. Ooh, I have 11 TCG tokens. Uh-oh. I think I'm good on Beetlejuice. Morning, Cleo. Should turn night into day. Not doing a great job of it, but we should. Close this window here. Okay. XP, how about this? How do I have so many half-filled ones? Morning, golden tetrapod. I think the squirrel. Morning, unlimited creativity as well. Dr. Haber, small etho. Is Impulse still here? No. XB, I didn't... Where's the spawn portal? Is the spawn portal the scar portal? Is this it?
I'm right here.
Okay, let me get my recording set up real quick. Sorry. Start recording. Okay. So, we are looking for XB Crafted, who apparently needs a TCG token. XB, where are you? I heard you before, but
I am hiding.
This stealth mode is really wild. How are you so effective at hiding? I hear you with the voice chat. Like, it sounds like you're this way.
No, wrong way.
There you are. Oh, I found you.
I was just on the other side of the portal.
So sneaky. Alrighty. So I heard you need a TCG token.
Yeah, I want to do Azuma's thing, but I just bought 2 packs yesterday, and so I'm out of tokens.
Oh, I didn't know it cost tokens to battle the boss. That was clever of him.
Right.
Okay, well, here's what I've got. I have a TCG token, but I also need you to help me out. I've been naming, like, 190 shulkers for Pearl, full of trash, for her trash service. And I name them each with a different joke, and sometimes I dye them to match the joke. If you can just come up with 5 jokes and then dump them in any dumpster for Pearl, I would really
So, like, the whole shulker?
Like, just name the shulker itself. You don't have to name, like, 27 stacks of items.
Yeah, because that would be... Yeah.
That would be a lot, yeah. So just something to put a little smile on her face when she empties it out there.
Right. Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, XP. Good luck
Thank you.
fighting that boss.
Oh, I'm going to wreck its face or
Woo.
something.
Or whatever it's got. It's wires. Redstone wires will be torched. Bye.
Bye.
Naming the items would stop them from getting, sorted. Oh, that's funny. It didn't occur to me. Hey, we're fun. Just so you know, why don't you go ahead and read the rules? Please stop yelling in all caps. I'm going to time you out so you have a time to do that. Alrighty. Stop recording. Face camera back on. Sure. Whoa, this is like, I'm glad I'm here. Sure. What's up, Zed? Okay. We might need to be, come to the Nether Hub, please. Uh-oh. That's, where I get my worst performance on frame rate. But, okay, we're gonna start recording again. Turn the face camera off. Just as a reminder, the camera does get bigger when we get tips. I don't have... My computer rebooted overnight, apparently. Dang it, so all my stuff is messed up. But, tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. We're gonna tell Zed we're on my way. We're gonna double totem this Zed appearance. So let's turn down the outside mic since we're in the nether now. There shouldn't be birds and stuff. Let's eat this. Should probably have had a fireproof potion too, but let's turn down our view distance in the nether because for this recording we won't need more than 8, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not normally this popular. I don't know what's going on this morning. I'm liking it though. Everybody must be like, oh, Joe's about to leave for Wisconsin. Better be cool and help him get extra footage to edit. So no complaints there.
Aha!
Howdy, Zed.
Joe, Perfect. I am so glad you were here.
What can I help you with?
So, okay, I recently just bought some of your tadpoles. Turned one into a frog, and he's currently dangling underneath me now, and I'm not sure how to save his life.
Oh, you're not gonna like this. I've actually done this several times by accident.
Oh no.
Okay,
And what's the outcome?
You have to take it through the end.
Through the end?
Yeah.
Hang on, wait. What?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess you could build stairs and have him come up the stairs.
I was hoping maybe you could make one of these, like, vines, but that starts way up here, and maybe he can, like, climb a vine?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of... Do you have blocks on you?
Nothing useful, no.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it from down here absolutely intentionally. And let's see. I've got enough gravel to get me up to this high. Okay. So let me come underneath him here.
I see you there.
I've got a block of amethyst and a...
He's not going to splat on the floor, is he?
No, I'm trying to, like, support under... Okay, yeah, you can't use gravity blocks like that.
You're doing a fine job.
Okay, so we at least now have something directly underneath him here. Now,
that vine should reset his fall damage, right? We're not going to get a dead frog here.
No, well, hold on. I think we can build something. There's a bunch of, what do you call these things? Ender chests hidden in the floor here to get these particle effects.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got my redstone kit here. Let me see if I can piston him up.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
Wow, yeah.
That
I mean,
might...
annoyingly, frogs can jump really, really high, but they just
high.
need something to like jump on.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. So we do have some pistons. We have some buttons. Okay. Now the thing is, I
have 35 glass as well. Maybe this could help us.
Okay, I've got blocks now that I'm in here. Let me see. So I guess the problem is the piston is gonna face... Okay. So the piston is gonna go directly underneath him? Brr.
I don't want to move an inch because I'm worried that it's gonna end badly.
Yeah, you definitely should not do that. Okay. Maybe I just build some stairs and we try and have him walk up, like, you meet in the middle. So,
yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Magma blocks, bad choice. Exposed copper and iron, better choice. Okay.
Oh, Hoppy days, I'm so sorry. I can't believe he fell off.
When I've had one fall all... Well, I actually had 4 fall all the way down. I had to bring him through the portal to the end is at the bottom here.
Right, that's a clever
and
idea,
so I
you
brought
know,
him
yeah.
all the way through there, and then I got him back to world spawn through the dragon portal, or whatever.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, and then you go from world spawn. Okay. That's quite a journey for a frog.
It was a whole episode that was supposed to be 5 minutes off camera.
Yeah. Oh, this is looking good. Yeah, because if I move over there, hopefully he'll dangle above the stairs and hopefully he'll land. And then, yeah, I can just steadily walk him up. These are fine stairs. Mighty fine stairs, I must say.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're I don't want to trash Tango's stuff, but we might have
That might be enough. If we can convince him to leap up the last few little bits, he might be able to come up.
Okay, I think that the answer now is for you to try to jump onto the stairs.
Okay. Let's try and go up.
Yeah.
Hey! Hoppy Days is alive and well. Okay, this way. He's nice and slow. He's making his way.
Yeah, he gets the concept.
And then this is going to be the tricky bit now, though.
Let me nudge
build
him.
some stairs.
Let me
yeah.
come
Go on,
behind
then.
and
We
I'll
can do
nudge him if I can.
a push and pull kind of thing. Maybe if I go over here. This way, Hoppy, come on. Up the block. Where's my glass blocks? There
Okay,
you
he's coming
go.
up.
There you go. Oh, also, they follow. Do they follow slime balls?
I don't know. Maybe.
I wish I knew more about frog and anatomy and biology. Okay, this is looking good. Yep. We're almost back on the crimson. Are we up? We're up.
He's up.
Oh, frog saved. Oh, Joe, I'm so happy. And he's hoppy.
A wonderful duo.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know what to do, and then I just thought, you know what, Joe could come and save the day, save his own. Like, you obviously had a connection with this mob at one point in time when it was just a little tadpole. So.
Oh yeah, and this is the sort of customer support I love delivering. So I'm happy to help, Zed.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, I would have just had to have gone and bought another one. So you kind of did yourself out of a sale there. But again, fantastic customer service.
Now you'll think of me when you need another one later, though.
I'm pretty sure it's going to die before I get back to my base still. So yeah, there's plenty more time for death.
Alrighty, well, good luck, Zed.
Thank you. I'll get it to my base and I'll come and clean this up down here.
Oh, well,
as you built it, I'll tidy up.
I mean, it's like 30 blocks of iron. I'd rather keep it. I'll clean it up. Don't worry. Good luck,
Okay,
Zed.
all right. Well, then you might be in the vicinity while I'm still slowly taking this guy where I needed to go.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck. Happy trails.
Cheers.
Hoppy trails.
Hoppy trails.
If he falls again, it's gonna be a whole thing. But we know how to do it now. This is so much easier with 2 people. When I did this, it was with 1 person. Hey, I'm gonna leave the recording mode on. We're not gonna turn the face camera back on until we're clear entirely of this, just in case Zed falls back through or something. That was nice. Zed and I aren't always online, or often. I was gonna say always. We aren't often online at the same time, so that's a real treat to get to record with him. That really set a positive tone for my whole morning. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and wander back toward our base here. Monpie says, what's the most satisfying block to break in Minecraft? I would say the mental blocks that we encumber ourselves with. I left my shulkers. Oh, I did. Thank you, House of House. Yeah, let's go get those shulkers. Take a sip of coffee and enjoy that little victory. Little bit weak. Little bit weak on the coffee. Once again, though, positive tone. Good experience with Zed. Now, I opened the bag of coffee this morning, and I was like, I remembered there being precisely enough to make 1 more pot when I closed the bag yesterday. But I'm opening the bag this morning, and I'm pouring it into the grinder, and I'm like, there's about 3/4 to 60% of what I need to make 1 pot. What I should have done is used less water. Now that I'm thinking about that, I should have just made fewer waters by volume of coffee at the point where I had fewer beans. Okay. Yeah. Badger says, maybe, I blame coffee bean gremlins. Microbird says, maybe someone came along to snack on the beans, and they also stole the jerky. Yeah, I mean, it's a mystery to everyone. Just as a reminder, I'm turning the face camera back on. If you enjoy the show, tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. So here we go. Let's, whoops. I was gonna say, let's get reorganized, but no, let's just smash into this thing first. I'm definitely not sleep snacking on coffee beans. Oh, I actually did go to bed at a reasonable time. I already did a button check just earlier. It was on one light. Somebody must have just pressed it. Whap, whap. Okay, so we're going to put the block of iron in here. Oh, boy. Oh, still waking up. I actually went to bed early last night. Did a fairly decent job of sleeping through the night. Woke up. I keep waking up like 6 hours after I go to sleep, because during the school year, a lot of times I have to wake up 6 hours after I go to sleep. So, I've been trying to go to bed, if I can, 7.5 or 8 hours before I need to wake up. Wait, did I say that sentence right? I'm still waking up. I keep waking up 6 hours after I go to sleep, because I normally have to wake up 6 hours after I go to sleep during the school year. Now, I've changed when I have to wake up, so I'm going to bed 8 hours before I go to sleep. No, that's wrong. 8 hours before I go to sleep is not when I go to bed. I'm tired. 8 hours before I have to wake up. I'm going to go to sleep. But then I wake up 2 hours before I have to wake up, and then I have to force myself to go back to sleep. I'm still... It's fine. Well, okay. So... yeah. Good morning, everybody. We just got here, and we've already recorded with XB and ZF. We'll see if Cleo needs anything next, I guess. Let's see. Oh, I haven't set my status yet. Okay, let's go through and review stuff. XP still searching for a llama dad. Oh, you know what I still need to do is I still need to swap out all my TCG cards. I didn't want to do that yesterday with Quinn here, because I didn't want to have to explain how that worked or why. Okay, but it's going in here. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Swapping out all my TCG cards is going to be a necessary prerequisite for, like, facing off against the new X-Boss or whatever. I stole 2 of Zed's glass there, but I think that's okay. I think he was willing to part with them. Let's turn the bird mic up. The birds were really quiet for a while because there was a lot of smoke, and I don't think the birds like the smoke. And also I closed the window, but now the smoke is gone somewhere else. So sorry to whoever's getting hit by Canadian wildfire smoke right now. Oh boy. I'm extra yawny because I got extra sleep. I forced myself to go back to bed for an extra 2 hours. Not an extra 2 hours, a necessary 2 hours. 2 hours that I needed. I went to bed early so I could get an extra 2 hours of sleep. I woke up 6 hours after going to sleep anyway. Was like, no, discipline. I'm not going to get out of bed and just start messing around. I'm going to go I'm going to stay in bed. I'm going to fall back asleep. And I did it. But then when my alarm went off for the stream, I'm like, I'm so disoriented. I got a lot of sleep for once. Scott, thank you so much for supporting the show. Our first tip of the stream. And let me tell you, folks, it's a bit of a doozy. A full abacus rolling in. Thanks to Scott, who apparently thinks I'm doing pretty good work because he writes, keep up the good work. Which anytime somebody hands you $100 and says, keep up the good work, that's probably fairly earnest. Thank you so much, Scott. That gets us 5 face camera expansion milestones real quick. If you've never seen a Joe Hill stream before, you might not be aware that the camera gets bigger when we hit tip-in milestones. We just hit 5 of those, so here we go. Let's do the first one now. Howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee-da-dee-dee-dee. Numero dos. Expand Joe. Do-do-do-do. Numero trace. Even larger face. Is this... Something seems off here. Let me check on. So because the computer rebooted, it resets all my camera settings. This is when people are like, Joe, why is your next desktop going to be a Mac? It's partially stuff like this. Let me just... I think it's a little bit less bright than it should be. That's the opposite. There we go. That's about where it should be. Okay. Number 4. Expand some more. Do-do-do-do. And then for the 5th face camera expansion, y'all have seen that money go straight to my head so far. But now, like Jacob Marley, these chains I forged in life are about to begin pulling me down to the deep below. Enter the joust. Bum, 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 bum. Lowering the Joe pasty now to 90%. So thank you again, Scott, for supporting the arts and my show in particular. And thank you, Bird. Oh, that bird's like right there, right outside the window. We got some nice little bird songs today. We got all sorts of beautiful, gorgeous outdoor stuff. Okay. I've got a bandpass filter on the low end for that mic pointed out the window, so we won't get all the truck sounds and the low car engine noises. I cut the bass out, but you get the nice high-pitched bird sounds. Occasionally you will get like a siren or just the high end of a weed whacker or lawnmower engine, which sounds weird. So I do occasionally have to shut it down because of lawn crews and stuff. It's the city. There's always somebody rolling around with a weed whacker to weed whack a very small area of a different commercial property or somebody's yard or something. Let's see. There's also somebody apparently using a hammer gun, one of those pneumatic hammers. Although I think the bandpass should mostly pull the low end out of that, so that should be okay. Oh yeah, let's get some ender pearls for Pearl, to throw in one of our traveling chests. But yeah, I've been pretty happy with how this is turning out. It might be a little bit repetitive work, but like the end result ends up just looking so much better than having well, whoops. I fell in a cave. It's fine. I'm still waking up. I'm still having my watered down coffee. I'm gonna have to go buy fresh coffee after this. So because I buy my coffee from like a local roaster, you know, like I don't like to buy it very far in advance, because if you buy it like right after it got roasted and use it right away, it's better. It's buying, you know, 3-week-old coffee costs the same as buying roasted today coffee, but quality difference. So I don't just go out and buy like 4 bags at once and then burn through them. It's like every 7 to 10 days I go buy a nice new bag so it doesn't oxidize. But welcome, Mike Deadman. Perfect timing. We have had a very busy morning so far. We've recorded a segment with XP Crafted and a segment with Zadaf, both of which I'm going to definitely be including in an upcoming video, because it's a real treat when I get to do anything with either of those gentlemen. What's the plan for today? Right now, I'm just kind of warming up my brain working on trying to get this into a presentable state. We're removing the areas that are... We're removing either the floating stuff, like this is going to be floating here, or we're removing the non-deep slate stuff to kind of build some, like, pits down in here. So when we fly over this is going to be a pain to walk over if I ever have a broken elytra. But, Mima Sweet says, "Excuse me, barista, may I have your oldest coffee? I need this for economic reasons." Well, that's the thing, Mima, is they charge you the same. You're paying the same amount of money whether it's freshly roasted or not. So you might as well go get it right when you need it, you know. Any chance there's, like, diamond stone in there? No, dang it. But yeah, we're just kind of trying to set, like, a kind of textured deep slate floor here. You need to support the elderly beans. Somebody else can buy the elderly beans who doesn't know better. Evanetta says, "Being holiday is fun, but I miss my computer and Minecraft." See, the thing is, Evan, let's reframe that. I know exactly what you're saying, but let's reframe that. Instead, like, when I go on a trip, right, there might be things I miss, but the value of, part of the value of the trip is it gives opportunities for reflection and appreciation. And so you might say, like, I'm loving Scotland. There's all this great stuff here. And on reflection, I appreciate even more some of the things I have at home. Right? See? They, you know, like, wow, being on this trip, I really appreciate my computer. You know? You don't appreciate it until you don't have it. Don't use the word miss, because that gets too negative. Like, it's part of the experience of the trip. Like, when I went to London for a week, I did the most high-tech thing I brought with me. I didn't even bring my smartwatch. The most high-tech thing I brought with me was my Casio G-Shock, because I wasn't worried about it breaking, and it doesn't need to charge. I didn't bring anything that you need to charge or plug into a wall with me. I didn't bring any power adapters because I didn't bring anything that needed power. And you know what? There were times where I missed having a camera or a cell phone, but for the most part, I was just able to appreciate being there, and I was able to look forward to having those things when I got back, you know? Like, it's a different thing. You did get to play pinball for the first time today. Hey, boom. There's an experience. Nice. Hopefully the place you played had the machine set up well. Because, yes, some people's first experience with pinball, if the machine is, like, broken or messed up, it can be kind of rough. But if that was the case, I hope you give it a try somewhere else, too. They had 7 machines. Ooh, what did you get to play, if you don't mind my... I don't want to, like... I understand that that's potentially a obfuscating question, since, like, people can look up what machines are where. It was in Edinburgh. Okay, well, you're already saying what city you're in, so okay, then you're fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I really want to visit Edinburgh. Morning, beef. You played Star Wars, The Mask, and Addams Family. Oh, I haven't played The Mask. Yeah, that was that movie came out in an era where a lot of movies were getting pinball machine treatment. The Addams Family is the best-selling pinball machine of all time, because it does a great job of theme integration with the film and the concept. But it's also a fun machine to play. It's got a lot of really quick, zippy missions and modes. You don't know if those are the official names of the machines? Nope. Addams Family is the name of one. Star Wars is the name of another. Star Wars is another movie tie-in, I guess. I was like, oh, that's cool. 2 movie pinball machines. Because I don't know. I've played the Star Wars pinball machine so many times, I forgot it was based on a thing. But yeah, no, Star Wars is a film made by this guy from California, George Lucas, back in the 70s. He actually went on to make a couple more, Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. And then went on to produce another trilogy before selling it to Disney for a ton of money. Vita Moonshadow says, Joe, is there something about Southern are there things about Southern culture you like or dislike? I think systemic and institutionalized racism that leads to extensive gerrymandering is definitely something I dislike about Southern culture. Biscuits and gravy is good, though. I really like biscuits and gravy. That's one of those things I only have, like, as a treat when I go out to restaurants for the most part, because my daughter doesn't like gravy. Most of the people that I'm around at breakfast time either have some reason they don't like biscuits and gravy or cannot eat biscuits and gravy, because, like, the gravy has meat in it, so vegetarian friends and family can't have that. I've got a few celiac friends and family as well. Well, I guess mostly family, so then it's like, biscuits are out. It's like, so yeah, biscuits and gravy is something I only really get when I go out for breakfast, which I don't really do since the pandemic. So yes, I'm like thinking about that, like, oh boy, looking forward to having some biscuits and gravy at some point. No, not cookies and gravy, European crowd. Biscuits and gravy. They're like, biscuits are kind of like cylindrical croissants. If you took like Kaname's Cocoa Pie says yeah, so things are kind of similar in the Philippines, where it's like, we hate the horrible global warming, exploitative president, political dynasties, and killing of journalists here in the Philippines, but we have banging food. Yeah. Mike Deadman says, we are both from the South, but my husband won't eat anything that makes bread soggy, so biscuits and gravy are out, but it's one of my favorites. Yeah, and I think it's okay. Sorry. A little bit of coffee. Might as well chase it with more coffee. A little bit of caught my throat there for a second. I think it's okay to have foods that you only have as a treat when you go out because the other people in your family can't have them, you know, or won't have them. Like, it makes going out even more special. Because, like, I don't want to, when I go out, I don't order a roast beef and cheddar sandwich. Because you know what I can make at home super easily? A roast beef and cheddar sandwich. I make a lot of those. But I might get a Philly cheesesteak. Even though it's kind of similar, I don't make myself cheesesteaks at home. It's not the same. I don't chop up the onions and the peppers and have that kind of roll. And, you know, I mean, I have other food that's way different from roast beef sandwiches and has no overlap. But, like, that's just an example. Like, stuff that's harder to make, stuff that's inconvenient to make at a one-person scale is perfect stuff to order at a restaurant. Oh, Balloon Arena says, U.S. biscuits are UK scones. Ah, scones. Good to know. Good to know. Can confirm. Sorry, getting a message here on the Hermitcraft voice, or not Hermitcraft voice. Can confirm. We said 2 hours before meeting time. Okay, I'm easily. This is the time of day that there's a billion things going on Discord. What? Including Badger has a picture of a lizard that might be the beef jerky thief, apparently. So, yeah, wow, sorry. I got behind on reading the Discord chat because I had the Hermitcraft Discord open. I really hate that Discord doesn't have multiple windows. It's... Beef just announced the collector cards. Wait, what? Wait, what? Where did he announce the collector cards? Mahi Zero, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, Mahi's Zero, whoa, whoa, whoa. Where is this announcement? Because I don't actually... We talked about the collector cards for probably... I'm not joking, probably like 12 or 16 hours. And that's like 20 people talking about those. That is like 320, 400 person hours of talking over each other about the collector cards. I don't know what the final decision was on anything at this point. All the details in my head have run together, so I can't even talk about these without knowing. Okay. Where is the final? Okay. So let me post a link. Thank you, Badger, for posting a link. Okay. I have to read the details of these out loud. Okay. So, we are still including random free signed cards in the pre-orders. That's the first thing. The first thing we have to say is this is not changing the pre-orders. This is in addition to the pre-orders. Okay. So, the TCG pre-orders, there's a 1 per household included free. Now, there's also going to be random signed cards still mixed in with the pre-orders, too. That's like a separate thing. But these are the slabbed things. They're coming in as a bonus for folks who pre-ordered. But we're also selling collector's edition slabbed TCG cards. If I'm... Oh, okay, wait. The ones that come with the pre-order might not be slabbed. They might just be... Yeah. I don't know. Beef retweeted them soon after. Okay. So the collector's edition is a separate line of... people had asked, like, about getting, like, postcards or something with the artwork. And some people, though, really wanted them as cards. So the fact that it says rare standard is a little unfortunate. Well, I mean, that's a pretty standard grading. Evan Netta says, is that 2 cards bonus or 1 card bonus? Okay, so you get a bonus with your pre-order. But additionally... Okay, I should probably be reading this before I read it out loud. Oh my gosh. I'm too tired for this. Okay. I'm gonna take a second. I'm gonna sip my coffee and I'm gonna read this quietly. Okay. So. Okay. I think I have my head wrapped around this. Okay. Yeah, here, I'll repost the card news link. Any idea how long the pre-order will be open for starting from the 1st of July? No. I'm assuming a month. because they want to make sure, when we talked about this, we really wanted to make sure that these collector cards also made it out by Christmas. Because, you know, it really sucks if somebody orders something like this in July and then it arrives in January. So the idea is that this is kind of another nod to the trading card game world, where there are rare cards that people get slabbed and put on display. You might have this on your desk or on a shelf. They're kind of small, so you usually have it, like, relatively close to you. But that's actually kind of something that people like. It's like, oh, this goes on my desk. Like, on my desk here, I have a small custom Lego thing of my fiance and I, whose face you can't see because the wrench is at a weird angle there. But yeah, so we've got... So, like, I just keep this on my desk where I can see it. And so these rare slabbed cards are going to be custom artwork. Signed and unsigned cards will be available, and you get to choose which. So, if you're like, I just want the art, I don't want Joe Hill's dumb writing all over it, you can buy an unsigned one. So... the artwork has not yet been revealed. So this is not a... Okay, so... Let me... we're getting a lot of questions rolling in here. Do I need to add more money to the pre-order for the signed cards? This is a separate collection. This is a new set of cards. Okay. The collector's edition cards are statistically the same as the rare cards, but have new artwork. And you can order them either signed or unsigned, but they always come in slabs. And this is basically to address the concern that we didn't want somebody getting a random rare hermit card and then slabbing it themselves and selling it for like $500. We didn't want somebody getting a rare Joe Hill's card and saying, well, everybody loves Joe Hill's so much, obviously I can go put this on eBay for $500. And then there's some parent who's like, my kid absolutely only wants a rare Joe Hill's card. My kid doesn't care about the rest of the TCG, but just to have it, their heart's set on it. And, like, I mean, if it was my kid, I'd say, look, we don't live like that. We don't have the budget for that. We're never doing that. So, if that were my kid would be out. Other parents would be overpaying some scalper, basically. So the idea is to basically have a separate sale of collector's edition cards. It's still, because of the limitations of the printing process, going to be a limited run, but it's going to be limited by how many people order, right? And the hope is if, like, 8,000 people order a collector's edition Joe Hill's card, then the resale value of those will approach what we sold them for in the first place, rather than having one scalper wrecking one parent's finances while all the other parents are sad, right? There's a few... This is not a perfect solution to this problem, but we're optimistic this will make sure that anybody who knows they would be heartbroken if they didn't get the rare card they wanted signed will have the opportunity to buy a fancy display case. Like, the slabbing is like a display case edition. Yeah, it's a different pre-order, but we're hoping that this makes sure, because, like, we had a lot of talk about like part of the TCG experience is you never know what cards you're gonna get when you're buying the packs. That's part of the experience. It's randomized. And then there is a secondary market for them, and there's a collector market for them. And people who get into Magic the Gathering know what they're getting into there, right? But, like, for parents, who's like, my kid just only loves Joe Hills and has to have that Joe Hills card. Us not being able to say, like, there is a way we can guarantee you a Joe Hills card, right? Kind of sucked. Now, because this is like a slabbed collector's edition with we're hiring artists again, with additional custom art, where you can guarantee the signature, it is going to be more expensive than if you got a box that has the cost per card will be drastically higher, but you're paying for the specificity, the guaranteed signature, the display slabbing, because I think they have to sonically weld it. They do something where they vibrate the plastic, which I think is called melting. They have to do some sort of special process to melt the plastic around the card without damaging the card. So I don't know. I don't see final pricing in this announcement. But yeah. So anyway, that's its own whole thing. It looks like pre-orders are going to go on sale July 1st, and the art is going to be announced over the course of the next 2 weeks. Miguel Angel says, I appreciate you thinking of making people happy in a fair way instead of squeezing as much money as possible. Well, Miguel, in fairness, this actually makes us more money. But that wasn't the intent. The goal was to prevent scalpers from squeezing parents. So, because we tried to figure out, like, well, what if we print more of the first run cards and then we sit on them? But nobody has room. None of us have a warehouse. Nobody has room for inventory. Creo doesn't have inventory. So, like, Creo does basically direct fulfillment. As soon as the packs are as soon as everything's packaged, it's shipped out the door, right? Evan says, "Don't tell them that, Joe." Well, no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know, like, but the motive here was not how do we steal money from the scalpers. It's how do we make sure that kids aren't upset. Yeah. Now, the thing is, this is a way fancier production because, like, collector tier stuff does have a cost to it. So it's still, like, a nice gift. Like, this is not just like, oh, hey, the parent has the card and they put it in a Ziploc bag for the kid. Like, the thing is packaged nicely. Like, it's ready to display with the fancy slabbing and stuff. It's nice. So, you know, we've got that going for us too. Like, it looks like a nice gift. It's called the collector's edition. I honestly couldn't imagine buying one of these for myself, but I could imagine buying one of these for someone else, if that makes any sense. It's like, this is too nice for me to buy it for myself. But maybe that's just how I was raised. Kingu says, what was the final decision on the postcards? There was no final decision on the postcards. There are preliminary discussions on the postcards. Well, actually, let me get some feedback from those of y'all who were like, well, I just want postcard-sized art. How do y'all feel about that being, like, printed on metal? Because apparently there's, like, this cool, like, metal plate printing process Creo is trying to pitch us on. And the cost per unit is higher than, than printing it on paper, but it's less likely to have problems during shipping, and it's less likely to get trashed by your kid if they're manhandling it. Curls of Doom says, like displate. I don't know what that is. But if it's printing things on sheets of aluminum, then I guess. Joju says, part of me wishes that those of us who ordered the standard pack first could see if there's any specific hermit we wanted and didn't get. Yeah, that was one of the problems, was if we're shipping the card game boxes in the fall and we wanted to guarantee we could get these signed and out by Christmas, we had to do this pre-order earlier. Badger's Manor says they're not a great company and steal IP. Okay, so, yeah. It might be the same technology they use, but we wouldn't be hiring them. Kingu says, I don't like metal plate cards. Microbird says, I want something I could actually put in a picture frame. See, I buy things I could put in a picture frame all the time, but then I never frame them, and then they inevitably get lost or ruined, because... that's just how my brain works, I guess. So I was like, oh, I like that I could lose this and then find it later, and it'll still be nice, because it'll be metal. Whereas, like, if I buy a postcard and I lose it and I find it later, it's all messed up. Cha-Cha says I buy a lot of prints, so I'm biased towards paper. Evan Netta says it's hard, not for everybody, and kind of hard to store. See, that's the thing, is because I don't really buy a lot of anything. The only thing I really spend money on, for the most part, is equipment for streaming, stuff for my kid. Like, I buy myself clothes when I need them. I always have it in the back of my head that I might have to move in 6 months, so I never buy anything collectible. So I don't know what people like. I know I don't like anything that's not easy to move in 6 months. So that's why I was thinking these aluminum plates sounded great. But, like, I'm always like, oh, I don't want to buy picture frames, because what if they crack in the move? I'll just store this art and frame it when we move, and then I never... It's like... I don't know. My life might just be messed up. I buy groceries. I spend a lot of money traveling, going to conventions, hanging out with folks. But, like, yeah, I don't buy things. A lot of people are saying I would rather have paper. Okay. Well, so... Microbird says I can pick up some cork boards. Oh, cool. Enjoy. Yeah, I want to do walls, like gallery walls that are easier to hang stuff on. Yeah, also, it helps that when I move, or it helps that I don't really have anything on my walls right now, because Badger has a ton of stuff to hang. So after we get married, there's not going to be any contention like, well, Joe, you're going to have to take down your thing to make room for my thing. It's like, the walls are your canvas, Badger. Enjoy. Although, maybe not in this apartment, because, like, the walls are, like, ready to collapse if you try to put stuff in them, which is one of the reasons they told me not to. And I tried doing it anyway in a few places with mixed results. But the next place we live... yeah, we can work through my backlog of art, though, and stuff that I do want to hang up eventually. Like, I've got that, I've got the original inks that Evan Dom did of Jesus throwing the table from his book, The Harrowing of Hell. I got, that's probably, like, the most valuable original art I have. You know, him screaming, "You have turned my father's house into a den of thieves." I pointed at that page in the book when Corinne was reading. I was like, we actually have this. And she's like, Dad, that's not very cool. That was not a good use of your money. And I was like, thanks. Okay. Fine. I'm just supporting an artist I really like. Yeah, I'm more of an experiences kind of guy. But yeah, so I don't really know what people do or don't want when it comes to collectibles. Curls of Doom says I'd have to have the TCG card shipped to my mom because I don't know what address I'll have in September. Yeah, I was kind of gambling that I'll still be here in September when I got my cards ordered. Delg says, I would love some is it Door or Dore originals from Divine Comedy or Paradise Lost? I'm assuming that might be Dore because of the... Yeah. It seems like it calls for an accent. Yeah, I don't know how to do an accented E on a Windows keyboard. All that stuff is easy on the Mac keyboard. It's just... Is it Control E? I do it by muscle memory. No, is it Option E? Yeah, it's Option E on the Mac. But yeah, on Windows, I don't know. I don't know how to do a N dash or an M dash on the Windows PC either. It's like... My typography skills are so much better on the Mac. Kingu says it'd be kind of interesting to do something like this with the Hermit signature on the base and the Hermit's image cut from the card's image. With, like, plastic stand-ups. Really? Do people like stuff like that? I didn't know that those existed. See, this is how little I know about collecting. I didn't even know that people bought those. Like, not like, what? People spend money on that. Like, that exists? That's a thing people can buy? Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I don't know. I do got myself a crown. Yep. Yeah, I'm... Yeah. It's kind of frustrating that we didn't sort the middle school lottery problem this year. Because, like, I was hoping to move somewhere that I could, like, have a garage or something that I could fill with merch and then ship stuff from and really go full steam on some sort of store. But, like, that's not in the cards. Haha, this year. Yeah, don't yell in all caps. I'm going to time you out so you have a chance to read the rules. Okay. Nope, Queen, I don't know. Beef is handling the art for my cards. Some hermits hired their own artists, but Beef basically said, hey, if you want to hire your own artists for the limited edition cards, they need to turn the art around in, like, a very small amount of time. And so, like, it was... honestly not a deadline that I felt comfortable imposing on, like, the rush rate that I would have had to pay. Like, Beef is like, we can use my contracted people because they already have capacity booked for this, for all the hermits who are not doing stuff. So he wouldn't have to pay them a rush rate. But if I was bringing somebody in, and was like, hey, I need you to turn around a TCG card, like, full color inked to me in 5 days, like, that's... Yeah. Because, like, with using Beef's artists, a lot of them also already had, like, hey, I had this alternate card idea for the rare, and I didn't get to do it because the other one was, like, the direction we ended up going. Let's revisit this. So, like, they already had, like, stuff that... It basically wouldn't have been a rush job for Beef's artists, but if I hired someone in particular, I would be completely springing it on them. It's like, hey, how do you want to do a TCG card in 5 days, and there's incredibly precise requirements for the printing, and it's going to be stressful, and I don't know what it should look like yet, and, like... I have done enough freelance work to know when a client is a bad client, and I would not have been a good client with the deadlines that we were looking at. Whereas, like, some of the other hermits had already reached out to people and been like, hey, you know, could we do some TCG-style art? And, you know, so they had stuff in motion before Beef was like, hey, here's an option. But it would not have been fair for me to spring that on somebody without probably a couple $100 rush bonus. And I didn't have an extra couple $100. It's been like, yeah. Smugless, thank you for tipping 20. That gets us evenly to our next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. It's time to expand Joe's. Do. Lowering the Joe pasty now to 80%. And then let's make sure we haven't missed any other PayPal tips rolling in, because sometimes the alerts only go to my phone. So we're going to do a manual refresh on my phone and PayPal. Looks like we're good there. Just as a reminder, tips are welcome via PayPal. Whoops, that's the Creo thing. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Kingu says, I know you want to handle all the steps yourself, and I respect the idea. Just as being someone who sent out 10,000 packages a month, it requires skills and energy most people don't have. The thing is, I have the skills. I used those... Now, granted, things are a little different now than they were a decade ago. A decade ago, or 15 years ago when I was doing shipping, I wasn't having to deal with interstate sales tax on the internet. That's the skill I don't have, is dealing with the interstate sales tax. So I need to get an accountant. But the thing is, in order for this business to actually stand on its own, there is no way for me to do merch without doing shipping in-house. Because, like, as I saw when the TCG stuff went live, the amount that people tip dropped so significantly that I have to get a day job. Basically, if I opened a merch store through, like, an online t-shirt vendor rather than shipping the shirts myself, basically, if I start selling merch, I'm going to be working 8 hours a day for somebody else, or I'm going to be spending a bunch of time shipping the merch. I would rather own the vertical of the merch. I'm not far enough ahead that I can, like, I'm already not breaking even. I'm dipping into my, like this, the TCG thing was rough. I had to dip into my retirement fund to keep my head above water, like, which is bad. You pay huge tax penalties on that. Like, that really hit home for me how, like, I was basically exactly break even, and as soon as I dipped below break even, things got really bad real quick. So, yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, Kingu. I know that it's a lot of work, but like, if it's the choice between working for myself 8 hours a day shipping or making websites 8 hours a day, in one of these situations, I have to pay for babysitting, and I have to pay for after school care, and getting my kid to and from school is a hassle because I'm going to an office possibly. Like, it's yeah. Yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So yeah, I'm way less stressed out by the idea of doing my own merch than I am by the idea of going back to making websites. Because like the commute alone caused me so many health problems. Like, I know that shipping merch will be hard, but I won't have a commute that like makes it really hard for me to eat at the right times and messes with my digestives. Because because my digestive problems, I really have to be careful when I eat in relation to when I drive, and then everything gets all off, and it's a nightmare. I just, you know, I'm sorry, I'm getting really stressed out now, but yeah, like. So I can work with Creo to do limited runs of merch, but at the end of the day, if they don't want to keep any inventory on hand, they're only ever going to do pre-orders. They will do fulfillment for pre-orders, but if I said I want to order an extra, Chloe the Great and Powerful says, if you're doing your own shipping, would you only be doing domestic orders? At first. That would be stage 1. Stage 2, I've done international shipping before, and I know how to do it. It's a bit of a hassle, but it's doable. The big thing is, though, that in terms of capacity, since it'll just be me at first, ultimately in the long term, I might hire help. But since it'll just be me at first, it'll be easier to scale up without getting overwhelmed if I limit myself to domestic orders for the first round. But the goal would be to take what I learn on the test run doing domestic only and then apply it to international. Kingu says, international shipping from the U.S. is one of the most expensive countries to ship from. Yeah, that's, in the long term, what I'd actually want to do is pay somebody in Europe to, like, instead of me printing shirts here and then shipping them to Europe, I want to ship a PDF via email to Europe and have a separate fulfillment center there. But I don't have anybody I trust to do that. So what it might be is that I set up the U.S. fulfillment center myself now, and then when my daughter goes off to college and Badger and I move to Scotland possibly, I go set up the Europe thing myself, and I hand off the U.S. one to somebody else who has been working there for a decade at that point or something. 5 years. Doug says, I hear what you're saying, Joe, but if it comes down to it, there are a lot of more fully remote jobs now. Yeah, I keep seeing horror stories, though, of people who are hired for remote jobs, and then they're told, like, actually, we've just gone back to office, new policy, you need to move to California. And, I mean, I guess I can just quit at that point, but, like, I feel like if I'm investing in a merch shipping setup, that's me investing in my future rather than retreating into my past. You know? The problem is I basically have to be my own Robert Koo here. Like, the Penny Arcade guys were able to make this work because they had a separate person to do all this stuff. And I'm just one person. But I can't afford to hire anybody else yet. Although I'm working toward that. But, like, the long-term goal would be to set up my own shipping and fulfillment stuff and then be paying someone else to do it. Right now, though, my entire staff is all remote, because the moderation team doesn't need to be here. I don't know. That's... But yeah, and there's nobody that works for me that could relocate either. Like, they all have jobs and lives that are very geographically anchored. So I'd have to train somebody from scratch. It's not like, oh, hey, so-and-so who's been working for me for 3 years can just move here and take care of this stuff for me. Prajesh Experience says, love from India, and tips 500 Indian rupees, which comes out to 6 US abacus beads. Thank you so much, Prajesh Experience, who writes, love from India. Well, love to India. And everyone. Woo! But especially to Prajesh Experience in India. Kingu says, the company my wife's working for recently made a huge shipping snafu because they changed shipping providers partway through a major sale, and half the shirts they sent out were returned to them because they used the wrong shipping method. First class package service for items over 15.999 ounces. Yeah, see, that terrifies me. Like, in theory, if I've got a scale and indicia, it's hard to screw up. But there's always new ways to screw that up. Evanetta tips 15 new Israeli shekels and says, let's get that up by 4. Well, thank you very much, Evanetta. That gets us 10 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. And then, let's see. Derail also sending in a tip. Let me open up PayPal on my phone so I can see what that message is. Dun 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 dun. Derail tips 5 and says, thanks for keeping me entertained while I try to get chores done. Hey, you're welcome, Derail. That is going to get us 5 away from our next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/showhills and YouTube Super Chat. But, like, realistically, if I don't keep my own inventory, I'm never going to be able to make money at conventions either. Every trip I make to PAX, I'm going to say, I'm just going to be losing money. Like, even if they comped me a table, if they said, Joe, we're so glad that you're willing to do a panel, we'll comp you a table, which they don't do at PAX, but some conventions they do. I'd be like, well, great, I have nothing to sell because all of my stuff is print on demand and I don't have any inventory, right? Like, maintaining inventory is both a liability and an asset for me. For Creo, it's only a liability. But for me, it opens up what kinds of events I can justify. A lot of smaller conventions will basically pay the visiting creators in table space, which is great if the visiting creator has inventory to sell. But not good otherwise. How many diamonds do I have to my name? Some. That's them. Hi, diamonds. Let's put that back in there because we're not sponging right now. Hey, welcome, Shifty Pumpkin. At least 15. Yeah, there you go. At least 15, right. Oh, that reminds me. I was meaning to come through here with some jungle logs. I keep getting sidetracked working on this floor because I want this floor to look good, but I actually should be doing other stuff. Okay. Okay, here we go. Emily Jane tips too and says, Happy Friday from Northern Ireland. Well, happy Friday to Northern Ireland there. That puts us 3 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Okay. Bum 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 ba da. Do 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 do. Oh, that's right. I was gonna move a beacon over here. That's part of why I had all that iron. Every time I go to start moving a beacon over here, I get distracted by the floor over there. And then, Minecraft, right? It's a video game that I should be better at. Yeah, I was gonna start work. I'm out of pork chops. No, I'm not. Pork chops. Yeah. Kingu says placards like 6x8 or larger are the biggest bang for your buck because you can jam a lot of creativity in the artwork and fit a convention's worth of stuff in your clothing and sign it in person. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're not wrong. We're gonna see, honestly, how well these Joe Hills cards sell. So like with the TCG sales, we don't really know how many, because like the Hermits didn't have dedicated affiliate links or anything, right? Everybody just used the same Creo card link. We don't know how many of my viewers bought TCG cards versus how many of Grian's viewers bought the box set, right? With these individual cards, that's going to give us the ability to kind of see, like, okay, how many people that buy collectible merch are Joe Hills fans? Because I've never sold collectible merch before, and I have no idea what to expect, right? So if I see, hey, we sold 4 collectible slab Joe Hills cards. That to me says, okay, maybe it's too early to get into merch. Maybe I just focus on my fundamentals of my channel, because if I print 36 t-shirts and I sell 4, I'm going to definitely lose money. And that's not going to... I'm not in a position where I can afford to lose money. I'm in a position where I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And when those paychecks are late, I'm dipping into my retirement fund. And that's terrifying and not a good time to go be like, let me go print 400 t-shirts so I can get the bulk rate. Now, if we sell 400 of these slabbed Joe Hills cards, then I start looking at it and going, okay, so let's expand. Let's do postcards. Let's do t-shirts. But I don't know. I literally have no idea what to expect. We'll know by the end of July where we're at. I have kind of low expectations. And I think part of that is because on some level, I think part of my survival mechanism for being broke all the time is just assuming that something isn't worth spending money on. Because, like, the reason I've never had, like, bad credit card debt like some people who are broke all the time, is because I just look at something and go, oh, that's just not a good use of my money. Whatever. You know, I just like write it off. I'm just like, no, that's not for me. But then I kind of am like, when I'm like, what is my audience like? I kind of assume on some level, well, my audience likes my work, which is really reflective of my personality. And so they probably like the same things I do in terms of merch. But, like, what I like in terms of merch isn't reflective of my personality. It's reflective of my bleak financial situation for the last... Since I went to college. When did I graduate from college? 2008. For the last 15 years. It's, what I like in terms of merch is reflective of my financial trauma, I guess. And is not necessarily a good milestone or yardstick for what other people would like. Kingu says all creators have low expectations in terms of their value. I have very high expectations in terms of my value. I think I'm super valuable. I don't think a postcard of me is me, though. I think the things that make me valuable don't make a postcard valuable. So I don't know. Like I said, Creo is the one. Well, I don't think there's no real risk with this. There's no financial risk to me with this card printing of the individual hermits. I mean, in theory, even if Creo does end up paying more to set up the printing plates than the number of cards that they sell of me, they're going to sell enough of some of the more popular hermits that they're not losing money no matter what. So I'm not going to feel guilty if we only sell 4 Joe Hill's cards. But we'll know by the end of August what the actual kind of market expectation is, I guess. And then I can kind of start planning other stuff from there. Oh, gosh. I told you to read the rules. Don't say you have a question. Don't ask to ask a question. It creates a bad feedback loop. Have I thought about crowdfunding to test the waters? Yeah, I mean, I would... The big thing is, Delg, in order to handle the state sales tax, I need to hire an accountant. So let's say that I do like a pre-order for shirts, and I'm like, okay, we're selling X number of shirts. I can make money on the shirts, but still end up behind on hiring the accountant, right? So kind of there's minimum setup costs for doing this in-house. And so, yeah. Basically, if the Creo collectible Joe Hill's card covers those setup costs, then I would basically look at, okay, now that I know I can cover the accountant hiring setup costs, I can do a pre-order for a t-shirt, right? Kingu says, PayPal can handle all the interstate sales tax. It's deducted before any money is sent to you. No accountant, no filing for each state. Well, you forget, though, that I'm looking at attending events in a lot of these states, Kingu. So, if I wanted to sell stuff at a convention in Providence, Rhode Island, I need to be set up with their sales tax people. If I wanted to go to PAX in Boston, I need to be set up with sales tax. Like, and I try this manage. So at the point where you're a registered tax entity or whatever in some of these states anyway, you might also have to declare that PayPal withheld that separately. Like, you might have filing and stuff regardless. it gets dicey if you're doing a hybrid model. And we've ran into some issues with that back in the Team Snow Day days with Connecticut, and I don't want to deal with that again. It's a single form only for cash sales, takes minutes to fill out. They've been doing it decades for trade shows. Different states have, but every state has a different setup. Some of them you actually have to incorporate your business in the state. Some of them you don't. It's also, I might not be doing only cash sales. I might be accepting payment via Square or like. This is one of those things where like you're telling me this is all fine and I can hand wave it and believe you, but if I'm wrong, I could end up owing huge penalties, and it's an unacceptable level of risk, basically. Like, I have to get this right all 50 times for all 50 states, right? And I don't... It's not worth it. It's not worth it to me to gamble on that. Like... Yeah. Like, if I come back to you guys and I'm like, y'all, I made a mistake and I listened to Kingu and now I owe 10 grand in tax penalties across 4 states. Like, that makes it look like I shouldn't be running a business. Like, like, that puts me in a point financially too where, like, my kid might have to change schools because I can't afford to live here. Like, that's like ruining my kid's life levels of bad. And I'm just not... It's not a risk I'm willing to take. Like, we had to change schools. I had to move states and change schools when I was a kid because my dad's business failed. And that was one of the worst times of my young life. It was miserable for everybody involved. I didn't get into this so that I could make my kid relive my childhood. It's like, well, my dad followed his dream and we had to relocate, so you gotta follow. Like, no, I'm gonna do this slow and steady. And where did we lose that torch? And it's under the machine. Oops. Some states have made it very easy for out-of-state sellers to do in-person sales at trade shows. Not all states. And the thing is, like, you're fine if you don't do any business in that state at all. But if you do a mix of if you do online sales in that state and in-person sales, you could possibly end up in a situation where they're expecting you to do stuff that I need to know in advance the expectations. I don't need to be broadsided and be, hit with penalties. Like, I'm not a trusting person when it comes to the government and taxes. Like, this is why so many comedians and stuff are just like, oh, yeah, I accidentally owed the IRS $17,000 or whatever. Because, like, they're just like, oh, it'll be fine. It won't.
it won't just be fine. You have to know what you're doing, or you have to hire someone who knows what they're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm not going to pretend I do and just hope it's fine until all of a sudden it's like Connecticut wants $5,000, Massachusetts wants $4,000, New Mexico wants $3,000. You know, and then I've got to like come back to y'all and tell y'all I screwed up. Like, you know, like, if something outside my control happens and I have to ask y'all for money, I already feel bad about it. Like, my tire blowing up. Y'all help me out with that, and I appreciate it. But, like, I don't know what I could have done better to stop that tire from exploding on the interstate, right? Like, sometimes you run over something on the interstate and you blow out a tire. That's part of driving. You can't always see everything. But, like, with tax stuff, if I'm like, I'm 99% sure I need to hire an accountant. And y'all are like, no, Joe, just skip that step. And I'm like, yeah, sure, YOLO. Like, I feel like at that point it's on me. Like, that's just, I feel like it's disrespectful to y'all to YOLO on sales tax. I feel like y'all have been supportive of me for years, and I should repay that by, you know, taking stuff seriously and not just expecting you to bail me out because I screwed up. But, like, in that scenario, that's the only... My parents wouldn't bail me out about that, even if, like, you know, sometimes they could, sometimes they couldn't, depending on how bad it was. But, like, they'd be like, no, you screwed that up. You knew better, and you did it anyway. That's on you. Figure it out. My friends wouldn't bail me out at that point. They'd say, you knew better and you screwed it up anyway. Figure it out. Like I don't deserve to be bailed out at that point. I've just ruined my life to try to take a shortcut. Like, I really don't... I don't understand this argument. Like, it makes no sense to me that this is being presented as a serious argument. This is just like... There's no way that if I YOLO this, I get lucky and nothing goes wrong. Even if I do get the accountant, something could still go wrong. But the difference is, if I hire the accountant and the accountant makes a mistake, then I can possibly go after the accountant for the damages, you know, or I can say to y'all, I tried to do everything right, and something still went wrong. Can you help me out, right? I can go to my parents and say, I tried to do everything right. Something still went wrong. Can you help me out? I can go to my friends. I can say, I made a bona fide effort. I didn't take any shortcuts or cut any corners, and the accountant made a mistake. That's just bad luck. That's not bad planning. Deleg says accountants have errors and omissions insurance. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like, there's an upfront cost to this, but it's like, I'm trying to build a business that's gonna last me until I retire here. This is not a cash grab. Anyway, we'll have more data. We'll have more data based on how these cards sell. Hopefully they either sell a ludicrous amount or not at all, because if nobody buys them, then I'm just like, boom. I don't have to stress about this. Next problem. And if they sell like hotcakes, then I'm like, okay, well, now I know that it's a safe investment. If they sell kind of a middling amount, then I'm going to be like, uh-oh. I feel like I need to move forward here cautiously. Yeah, do not physically strike accountants. Good point, Ultimate Wager. Yeah, nobody... This is not an endorsement of striking accountants. But yeah, part of this too is that like I need to properly incorporate the business and do a bunch of other stuff that has like a setup cost that isn't really important if I'm making my money on tips as an entertainer, but does get important if I'm filing interstate sales tax. So there's a bunch of steps here that like I haven't done because I wasn't sure what state I was going to be living in, and I don't want to incorporate in Delaware. I want to incorporate where I'm actually based out of, because I feel like that's like the non-garbage thing to do. Oh wait, I actually have more logs. Yep, Nola, I got a crown. I pressed the button so many times. Deleg says a businessman contributing to his community. How un-American. Well, you know, the thing is, I actually live here. You know, like, I'm not like one of those guys who's like, oh yeah, I run a business in New York, but I live in Connecticut or whatever. Like, I live in the state that I run my business out of. So I, you know, would kind of like for that state to have money to not suck at things. Hey, it looks like we got a few PayPal tips rolling in. Let's see who they are from. Shifty Pumpkins tips 15 and says managing unacceptable risk one day at a time. Well, thank you very much, Shifty Pumpkin. The first 3 gets you a face camera expansion, and then we are 8 away from the next one. So here we go. It's time to expand. Joe, lowering the Joe opacity now to 70%. And then a second tip just rolled in as well from Microbird, who says, speaking of tips, here's one for you. And that gets us 2 past our next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. Expand Joe. Lowering the Joe opacity now to 60%. Okay. Prajesh XP tip in 500 Indian rupees, which once again is 6 US Apex speeds. Thank you very much. Right, I don't have retirement savings, also paycheck to paycheck, which probably uses up it'll use all my savings if I get married next year. Stuck in a job I don't like. Not sure if my passion will be successful, but still hopeful. It sucks being stuck in a job you don't like. I was there for a long time. And I could be back there in 3 months. It's terrifying. Like, yeah. Good luck. It's no fun being stuck in a job you don't like. What I used to do for work. I was a LAMP developer, Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And I really like computers, but it's a lot different having a commute and working for somebody else, and yeah, like I wouldn't. I think I'd be okay. Like, here we go. Like, I wouldn't necessarily mind running my own software company, but working at non-software companies as like the go-to person for everything with computers is kind of stressful. I thought for sure you had a background in writing. I mean, as a hobby, yeah. But like, I never had a job as a writer. In fact, I was repeatedly told I was not a writer and that I should not be contributing joke ideas at meetings when the writers were working on jokes before meetings that I was in. It's not my lane. It's like grumble, 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 grumble. It's like, I do YouTube. I make jokes on YouTube. And it's like, well, no, but Joey, that's not why you're here as a... We need your technical expertise about something with the website later. This isn't the part of the meeting for you to talk in. It's fine. I feel like I'm grumbling a lot. I was really happy hanging out with Zed and XB earlier. I've gotten kind of entirely stressed out and derailed. Yeah, the place I worked at before that was just like, everyone here is creative, and so when we have creative meetings, anyone can help brainstorm. And that was great. I was like, I really appreciate being invited to creative meetings, even though my job is computer guy. And I say that like, because they didn't really know what my job was. They just anything with the servers or websites or programming, or hey, can you port this app to the new version of iOS or whatever? Just Joe will do it. But at least there, like, yeah, I got to be involved with creative stuff. Yeah, I don't have a background. It's screened out. Thank you, Microbird. That's probably what I should have said. I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, let's... How far over did we get here? Dun 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 dun. We're okay on food. Okay. Delg says, Joe, is it okay for me to... Delg, yeah, Delg, hit me up on Discord. Yeah. That is not an open invitation for everyone to hit me up on Discord, but I know Delg. Yeah, yeah. Doug says, I got a new fountain pen for my birthday last night, and I won a cool fountain pen from a stream Tuesday, and I got one in the mail today for a friend. Ooh, hey, that's cool. Uh-oh, did I screw this up? I might have screwed this up. Wait, Doug, when is your birthday? Is your birthday, like, now? Is today your birthday? Did we miss Delg's birthday? It was yesterday. Oh no! Well, happy belated birthday, Delg. I make a habit of only singing to viewers on their actual birthday. I say habit. That's more of a policy. I don't sing to people who are like, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'm like, cool, I'll sing to you tomorrow if you're here. And I don't sing to them if it was their birthday yesterday. But like I said, Delg gets special treatment because I know Delg. So, Feliz cumpleaños ayer. Feliz cumpleaños ayer. Feliz cumpleaños a Delg. Feliz cumpleaños ayer. Y muchas más. So there. Nobody else gets that. Don't ask for it. I don't really need to mine up here. It's just kind of like habit. Okay. But no, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I like you. I haven't really used fountain pens. I took one calligraphy class in college as a complement to my Japanese language courses. There was a Japanese calligraphy course where we used brushes and bottles of ink. So I don't really have any fancy pen calligraphy experience, but it seems cool. And I do appreciate, like, using a nice pen versus using, like, a cheap Bic, you know? Hey, Gritmonger says, so large, so early. Good morning. We've had, yeah, kind of a crazy stream today. We had XP Crafted and ZF recording segments earlier. Got a lot of hype from the viewers around that, and we've been kind of trying to ride that wave of positivity with some ups and downs. We've got the announcement of the collector's editions cards announcement just went out with the special collector's edition artwork. I got a little bit stressed out because I'm like, if these sell really well, then that means it's time for me to set up a real merch store. And which is an exciting possibility, but also kind of stressful, kind of intimidating. A lot of steps required to do it right. Got to formally incorporate the business. Got to set up some accounting stuff. But you know what? So one of the big things holding me back is I didn't really have any data on what the demand would be until now. But like, if these collector's editions cards sell, then I'll know, like, okay, people do or don't want Joe Hill specific merch. Because like the TCG selling, I couldn't tell if that was like is the TCG selling because of all of Hermitcraft? You know? Like, I couldn't really extrapolate out the value in terms of merch of my work versus like all of Hermitcraft, right? No, I'm going to incorporate in the state I live in, which will probably still be Tennessee. So the collector's edition cards are going to have new artwork, and you can select to have them signed or unsigned. They're going to come slabbed as like a display piece. And so that's the thing, is it's like, it's not like, oh, this is a playable card that somebody's going to want for their deck. It's like, this is a display piece with me and artwork of me on it. And we'll see how it sells, and we'll know a little bit more than we know now about what people are willing to buy. Yeah, Delk says I've been using G2 since my senior year of high school or freshman year of college. Yeah, I really like the G2s. Those are good pens. Carl says, so if we want merch, we should buy these cards. Well, I'm gonna take the money that people spend on these cards. If people spend enough money on these cards, I can use that money for the startup costs to incorporate costs. I've been talking to NJ too much. Costs. No, a bunch of my family is from New Jersey, and so I slip into costs if I'm not careful. But yeah, we can cover the startup. If we can cover the business incorporation and accountancy costs out of selling those cards, then that would be a huge step. But like, the thing is though, Carl, like, don't buy 800 collector's cards because you want me to sell merch, because that's not going to represent the actual audience for the merch, you know? Like, buy what you would have bought anyway. Josie K says, the Jersey girl in me is laughing so hard right now. Yeah. For Dracula, yeah. For Mina, I was doing, like, a voice kind of like some of my aunts do. I'm trying to, like where they... I remember, like, them, when they talk to my dad, they'd be like... Oh, Joseph. You know that Daddy never really felt that way. He was just trying to be nicer to you because he felt like he screwed up a little bit and Mom got onto him about it. That sort of thing. Mahi Zero Woe says, I hope that these cards sell extremely well and are an accurate indicator of your potential future sales. Yeah, that's kind of the best case. That's kind of the best case, is if I'm like, I hope this isn't a fluke, and then it's not a fluke. That would be fantastic. That would be wonderful. Good point. Yeah. My mom's accent, though, when, she used to have a really thick New Jersey accent, and now when she goes up to Jersey to visit family, she'll be talking to, like, she went and got her hair cut. She's talking to the lady at the salon. The lady's like, so where you from? Kentucky? And my mom's like, no, I'm from Winfield Park. I was born in Elizabeth. The lady's like, what? No way. Amberwood writes, my mom has a stronger Minnesota accent than I do. Oh, sure. Let's see. Making sure we got our alerts set up properly here so we don't miss any tips. We're still getting a little bit of lag on the PayPal alert. Sorry about that, folks. But tips are welcome and appreciated via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. We are currently, by my Abacus account here, 12 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Yeah, sure. You betcha. Okay. I looked at trying to find a place to put a beacon in here, and I ended up accidentally mining down into an incredibly dangerous creeper pit, and I got sad. And well, not sad. I got scared and I escaped barely with my life. But yeah, I was like, oh, if we could just punch through to somewhere that we could set up a beacon, this would all be fast and easy. But the place to set up a beacon is terrifying. Woo, Baka White. I love that Joe's Minnesota accent is the same as his Liverpudlian accent. Okay. Oh, dang it. I had more of these I could have given, next week. Okay. Let me check my... Oh, Delg, I didn't realize we weren't friends on Discord. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just fixed it. Because, like, we're in so many of the same communities and stuff. I didn't realize we weren't connected. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. Yeah, Delg, thank you for reaching out. I don't want to commit to anything until we see that card sale data. That's good to think about. But yeah, it's too early for me to say anything either way. Let me make sure I switch my Discord back. Yeah, so let's see. If we get the card sale data, I'll know what the pre-order numbers are. Well, I'll know the final pre-order numbers by the end of July. But, like, if by July 1st, I'm like, oh, we sold 300. Creo will probably send us a progress report, like, a week in. So if I come back from PlayOnCon a third of the way through the month, and Creo's just like, Joe, you've sold 300 collector cards, then that's promising enough that I could go and start planning around launching the merch store then, right? Even if I don't have the final numbers. If I come back and they're like, Joe, you sold 20, but there's still 2/3 of the month left, who knows? It might be 400 by the end of the month. Yeah, no, Delk, definitely thank you for reaching out. That is good to consider at the appropriate time. Now I'm getting impatient. Now that you've got that going in my head, I'm like working backwards from what's the earliest that I could confidently feel like this is a safe gamble. Kindle says just got a Creo card email about signed card availability. Ooh, wait, did I get that email? Let me check my other email. Oh, I haven't even looked at my email box today. This is the stream where I check my email, and I'm like, no, I haven't gotten that email yet. Okay. They might be batching those. Yeah, it's good for planning ahead. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's see, we can kind of have this tunnel connect to here. And, of course, immediately water. The ocean, my ancient nemesis. The data in the email is the same as in their tweets. Okay, cool. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Strangers, race cars, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo, bum, but. Oops. Yeah, I mean, there are going to be some people who buy one of every card. And so, like, that might skew the data slightly higher than it would be otherwise. But, like, I mean, I can't imagine that there's, like, 1,000 people that are going to go out and say, I'm going to buy one of every Hermit Collector's Edition cards. Because, honestly, they're not priced like that. They are priced for you to buy your favorite, or maybe like, hey, the person I'm dating's favorite. I'll get the person I'm dating the one, or my wife or my husband or whatever. I'll get them the one they like, and I'll get me the one I like. But like, I mean, maybe I'm just too used to not having money. Maybe this stuff is. I can't imagine somebody buying this whole set. All like, or I mean, I can, but like, I mean, I think somebody buying the whole set, if you bought 20, the pricing information hasn't been announced yet, because I don't know if it's finalized, but it would be hundreds of dollars to buy the whole set of these slabs. And I can't imagine that there's hundreds of people with hundreds of dollars to buy the whole set, if that makes any sense. I could imagine maybe 12 at most. So like, if I just subtract 12 from whatever card sales I get, I feel like that would be like, okay, I've canceled out the number of people who wait, was that supposed to go up there? Messed up. I should really have an axe on me. Let's go get an axe. Like, these are going to be priced toward the high end of what I would spend on a friend's child if we were invited to their birthday. So, like, I wouldn't buy 2 of them for the same kid. Because then, like, but like, you know, for example, yeah. Like, if it's a friend having a birthday party for their kid and my daughter and I are going, I would consider buying one of these. Although you'd have to pre-order it 6 months in advance or whatever. I don't know if it's going to be 6 months, but you'd have to pre-order it. Like, I mean, these are not viable as surprise birthday gifts when you're invited to a party because of the pre-order system. But like, I can't imagine somebody spending 20 times that easily or without really thinking hard about it. I could see somebody saying, I'll pick my top 4 or 5 maybe, but like somebody buying all of them just it's my brain doesn't work that way. I'm looking for an axe. There it is. I put it in there for some reason earlier and I didn't get it back out. Pricing is not announced because I don't think it's finalized. So I can't give you numbers because I don't know. But the pricing that we were talking about, unfortunately, there's a lot of cost that goes into shipping the cards back and forth to get signed. And yeah. But yeah, I'm assuming for my planning of my estimating merch store demand question that there won't be a whole bunch of people ordering all 20-something hermits throwing my numbers off. I think most people who decide to spend money on this nice collector's edition Joe Hills card would be doing it because they like me and that they want to buy merch from or of me. Carl says, how long is the stream today? Well, this was supposed to be a short one so I could edit, and I'm bad at not streaming. I have so much fun streaming. And I'm making, like, real progress on this, actually. Plus, we kept running into people who wanted to record, and so now I'm like, oh, this is going to change how the episode works. Let me see if other people want to have last-minute stuff. So... Lakshmi13 says, my husband and I are happy to spend money on things we like the Sanderson Kickstarter, but we better get a lot out of it. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, there's diminishing returns on this. If you buy your favorite Hermit's card, it might absolutely be worth the price. And your second favorite Hermit, maybe. Maybe you have 3 Hermits you really love, and you can't pick. And you're like, I'll dig in deep here and I'll get 3 of these, right? But I can't imagine anyone going, it's worth this amount of money to buy a card for a Hermit I don't watch. Now, there are probably some people who are completionists who are going to say, I love Etho so much, but I have to have all of his friends, and I'm willing to pay any amount of money for it. But you would have to be an any amount of money person. And most people aren't. So I don't think that's going to affect my estimates too much of merch demand. Nope Queen says some people have a lot more money than you or I do, though. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But the difference between some people and a statistically significant number in this particular context is important, right? Like I said, if 12 people decide to buy the whole set of every Hermit's collectible card, that's not really going to skew my estimate for whether or not it's time for me to start selling t-shirts, right? A dozen shirts isn't going to make or break me, right? Now, if there were 400 people who are buying every set, and I'm like, wow, we sold 500 Joe Hills cards. Clearly, there's a lot of demand for Joe Hills merch, right? And then I go all in on Joe Hills merch, and the actual demand for Joe Hills merch was a 5th, then I'm in trouble, right? But I don't think that's likely to be the case. I think this is going to be a fairly accurate representation. Well, and we can also ask Creo how many people ordered every card. And they'll know. They could give us a report on that. Because, you know, if I say to them, look, guys, I'm thinking about doing some more merch, possibly some of it with you, but I don't know how to estimate demand for my own stuff versus demand for Hermit's Craft stuff in general. How many people ordered all 24 or whatever Hermit cards versus how many people ordered my card alone? Or, you know, my card and a few others. And they'd be able to tell me. So, I probably shouldn't stress about this. my hypothesis we went into this conversation with, which was this will give me valuable data for determining demand for merch as I make plans moving forward. I feel like that's sound. I feel like the more we talk about this, the more convinced I am that by the end of August, we'll have our first real estimate of what demand for my merch is like. And that's going to be really valuable for future planning. Mahi Zero was. So some of those people, some of those all-in folks would probably want to have whatever Joe merch to complete the sets that they have. Yeah, but the thing is, though, a lot of my stuff wouldn't fit into sets, right? Like, for example, I feel like branded household items are, like, what are things that people need but don't necessarily have, right? So, you know, a lot of homes, I found out recently, a lot of people, they once a year, they're in a situation where they have a problem that could be solved with a crowbar. And they don't have a crowbar. So, you know, if they already have a Grian crowbar, they don't need to buy a Joe Hill's crowbar too, right? But it's the people that are, like, starting out and they're like, oh, wow, when I need a crowbar, I'm going to really need one. Let me go pick up that Joe Hill's crowbar. You know, like, I think a lot of my merch would be items that would not, so for example, like, the crowbar is a silly example of that. Castaboris doesn't own a crowbar. See? Nope Queen needs a Joe Hill's crowbar. Joe Hill's hammer incoming. Exactly. So, like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do plushes or, like, but, like, I might do poetry books, right? I might do coin pouches for going to the arcade to keep track of your tokens, right? It's not like somebody's like, well, I have the Cub fan coin pouch and the Scar coin pouch, so I need the Joe Hill's coin pouch. It's my audience, you know, a lot of people go to arcades, and so I should be selling Joe Hill's arcade coin pouches or something. Cutting boards, charcuterie boards. Yeah. Like, so that's the thing is, I don't think that there would be a lot of sales to the complete the set crowd because most of my stuff wouldn't fit neatly into a set. Mini pinball machines would be very expensive. Very challenging to produce. Dujo Boy says, just joined. Did I click on a 90s music video? Oh, yeah, my camera gets bigger when people tip. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. And we are currently $12 away from the next face camera expansion. So if you want to see the camera get even bigger, we're only $12 away. But, yeah, I'm not really interested in doing, I'm not really interested in doing certain classes of merch that I think fit into those sets. Like, if I was going to do plushes, I would probably not be using Makeship. I'd rather probably work with, there's this company Chris Straub worked with out of Pennsylvania for his Jinx Lip plushes that I really liked. Hey, we got a tip rolling in from Carl Farless, who says, giving more good vibes for your day. Consider merch also enjoying your streams during my vacation. Thank you, Carl Farless, for that. let's see. We were 12 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. So let's go ahead and process that real quick. Expand Jost. Do. We are now at 50% geopacity, and then let's see. So that's so we've done 12. We've got 188 more to go because Carl just dropped 200. Boom. So that's full abacus, and then again. Okay, so numero dos, expand Jost. Do. Lowering the geopacity now to 42%. Numero tres, even larger face. Da. So thank you so much, Carl. Lowering the geopacity now to 32%. We actually need to increase the resolution the camera is operating at as the eye gets bigger here. Numero cuatro. How about some more, Joe? Dee. Lowering the geopacity to 24. Each Nissan she go. Expand Jost. Do. And let me see if I can find my eye. There it is. Lowering the geopacity now to 20%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I should get a new rhyme in the mix. I am not real prepared for this. OBS is freaking out a little bit. Expanding. Where is my face? Expanding. All over the place. Boom. Lowering the geopacity now to 16%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Jost has expanded all the way up to heaven. St. Peter, he's there at the pearly gates with Cormac McCarthy, and they both say, "How'd you get so low, Joe? 12% geopacity. About to hit that ocho. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, OBS kinda gets a little panicked as things start really expanding. But here we go, lowering the geopacity down to 9. 2. Okay, so let's see. We've got 2 more face camera expansions to go. Carl writes, I was debating on doing this during the coffee stream, but Monday was a weird one for me. Well, glad to have you here today, Carl. Here we go. Expand. Getting bigger and bigger. OBS is like, what? Stop. Please stop. No, I refuse. This is what the people demand. This is what the people paid for. Lowering the geopacity now to 6%. Whew. And then we've got 1 more to go. We never have to count to 10 on this stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10 faces. Boom. Here we go. Expanding me. Once more. Finding my eye. Lowering the geopacity now to 3%. Thanks to supporter of the show, Carl Farless. That puts us 20 even away from the next expansion and the entrance of the Beetlejost. So thank you, Carl. Meanwhile, while we were doing that, people are still talking in the Discord chat about other merch. Yeah, pedal boats. Joe Hill's pedal boats would be really fun. I found out you can buy a shipping container full of pedal boats for about the price of buying 3 pedal boats at retail. And that really makes me want to get into the pedal boat business. Because they're cool. But probably not a wise business decision. So let's see. Let's make sure we've got our alerts pulled up just in case that next expansion milestone does come through. Okay, cool. All set. Do, do, do. Why didn't I just hug the plywood for this? That would have made way more sense. Okay. Lower the camera a little bit there. Always hug the plywood. Just don't get splinters. Oh, I'm actually... I think I'm too high up to actually hit anything here, now that I'm looking at this. Okay, let's make some sticks here, and then let's make some torches. Yeah, we're about to max out our inventory anyway, so we need to be going back regardless. Oh, here we are. Oh, we were literally just about to hit the... Pff, I really didn't estimate properly where we were, huh? Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Amberwood says, I do live in the state of 1,000 lakes. Or 10,000 lakes. Delg Zero says we could do a Joe Hills themed runner game, but instead of a timer, your face shrinks until you pick up coins. If you get big enough, you level up and it goes faster. That's pretty funny, Delg. I don't really personally enjoy those games, but I it's a fun joke. I've seen people play those a lot. Actually, I've just seen one of my neighbors play those games a lot. There's just one guy constantly playing those runner games on his iPad whenever we were hanging out and he was bored. And Joe Hill's folding tables. I mean, there are people that sell like gaming chairs and stuff. Like Minecraft has a chair now. Minecraft with a chair. Can you believe it? Okay. I am feeling like getting this these bits of the plywood and the infrastructure in is like one less thing to worry about later. I'm really feeling good about the playfield design that I'm working on. I'm not ready to unveil that, but I've been researching and brainstorming and doing a lot behind the scenes, which is one of the reasons I'm behind on editing, because I'm like had a big breakthrough. That's what I want to do with the playfield. Okay. Yeah, this is an invite-only server, and I don't control the invites. Dagon. Okay. I don't really need to mine this out. I probably should stop, because it's just going to make it harder to sponge later. Anything to fix my elytra, though. Oh, wow. I was going to say, man, I'm starting to get hungry. I wonder when it's lunchtime. It is actually lunchtime now. I will be streaming again this evening. I've got my Friday night stream tonight in 9.5 hours. It's 8:30 U.S. Central Time, 9.5 hours from now. And the face camera only resets at 6 a.m. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania time, so we'll be coming into this with the huge Joe Hill's eyeball. Yeah. I'm actually... I've got a call over my lunch break that I need to take, so I can't just push lunch back either. So it has been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all. This stream actually went, like, way longer than I expected it to, because we were making such good progress. Thank you for helping me think through some of that merch stuff. Sorry I got kind of stressed out, but, like, yeah, this stuff it takes a lot out of me to think about, but like now that we've talked through it, I feel better. And that's the thing. That's why I put myself through that stress, because that's part of the process. I'm like, I know that if we talk through this, there's a way to make this work that makes sense. I just gotta figure that out. Oh no, I'm locked myself in and now I'm drowning. Not desirable. Okay. Yeah, don't drown. General life advice, not just Minecraft. Do not drown. Yeah, we're at the end of the stream. Sorry, Asian. But welcome, nonetheless. Let's see. I need to see who else is. Let's see what's going on. It looks like one of our Hermitcraft pals is about to go live, so we might be able to raid him in-game. Why don't we see if we can sneak over there real quick? I don't want to say who, because it'll ruin the surprise. Okay. Chords player. Okay, definitely this way. So we're going to be rating Impulse once I find him. It looks... Wait. No, he's back this way somewhere. 2114. We're not doing great on rockets. Negative 2055.
Hi, there you are.
Howdy,
I thought I heard
Impulse. Joe
somebody.
Hill's right here.
Oh, hey Joe, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Hope
You're
you had a
welcome.
good stream.
Have a great stream. Yeah. Oh, I gotta say, I started listening to that podcast that you and Skizzleman do. It
Yeah?
is very, very good. Very insightful.
Thank you.
I really
Appreciate that.
I really liked the one on happiness, and I was just like, wow, like a lot of this is like really overlapping with me. But you know, these podcasts are dangerous. You start listening to them, and you think you start really knowing the guys. And I was like, oh wait, I do kind of know Impulse a little bit.
Yeah, we got something a little more than a parasocial relationship, Joe. You know. But
yeah.
thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Nice little plug for my stream too. Like that. Thanks.
Glad to be here on your stream. But anyway, I gotta go eat lunch. You have a fantastic time.
Okay.
Bye.
Enjoy your lunch. Bye. Thank you.